very young age. You participate in, these activities, extracurricular activities, and it's all competing, and it's all to try to see who gets the best prize, who is the best. And then when you get a medal saying that you are good if you can perform a certain action. And if you cannot perform that action, then you are seen as not good enough. And a lot of people actually internalize that, especially when you're a young child. You can internalize, and instead of not seeing yourself as good at this particular task, then you see yourself as not good enough as a person. And the school system sets its one particular track for every person.
And that's unrealistic.
And that's really unrealistic. And I like what you posted the other day actually about having what if the school system decided to take people at a young age, find out what their talents are, and grow their specific talents over a period of 12 years.
Wow.
Rather than having everybody compete for the same exam. Because I think it was Einstein who said, if you judge a fish by how well it can climb a tree, then it will think that it is dumb.
Exactly.
Because a fish cannot climb a tree, but then you judge everybody by this one particular. Some people are just not cut out for the traditional present day education system. And if you really check it out, a lot of people who do good at their careers are not people who dropped out of school.
Yes.
Those are the people that become millionaires.
Yes.
Because they find what they love to do. They find their purpose and they enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
And they so I guess the whole system is basically designed to cause you to look outside of yourself.
That's exactly.
You look outside of yourself to accomplishment, to goals, then it turns into you work your entire life to try to put a decent roof over your head, to pay bills, to buy a nice car, and then what is really the true outcome? Because a lot of people work for other people which have companies. You work in a company helping somebody to accomplish their dream, and basically you put what you desire, what your true purpose is, on hold to survive, basically.
It's survival.
Because a lot of people actually do not do jobs that they love to do. Majority of people is not doing something that they feel accomplished for if they weren't even getting paid for it.
Exactly. It happens to the best of us. It's happened to me as well. Being in a job that basically stifles your creative ability as well, because, okay, so, what if, Richie, just imagine if creatives like yourself and I were put in positions where our creative abilities could have been honed from a very young age. Can you imagine what impact we would be making throughout our lives, even now? I mean, not saying that we're not starting, but can you imagine the heights to which we would have reached? It almost seems to me sometimes as if the system has a way of keeping down this natural ability, this natural talent, so that everybody is moving towards the same thing. As you said, it's a rat race. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, and then you're not able to enjoy these things. Because basically what you're going to end up doing is making just enough to survive. And it's about survival, having something to eat, having somewhere to stay. And at the end of it all, you die and you leave these things behind without having even enjoyed your life. And
without finding out what your true purpose
and what your purpose really is about,
and even trying to question the system that was built and put in place for you to live under, basically.
To live under,
and
that's the word.
There's a lot of social engineering going on,
yes,
to enable 1% of the population of the earth to basically have the money trickling back to them.
Exactly.
And one of these social engineering tactics is conditioning, operant conditioning. And what happens with this is that it's a punishment and reward system. And the punishment and reward system is basically that if you do what I ask you to do, I will give you some cash. And that will give you a little bit of freedom. The only thing is that you really don't have that much freedom, because most of the middle class people in the world, when you work, the system takes back your money. You have to pay bills. You have to drive a certain type of car if you want to, be in a certain social class. You have to have a certain type of house just to provide you with a little shelter over your head. And to me, that is extremely insane, because we are so much more than that as human beings. And I feel like we have been stripped of our true purpose, of our true nature. We have been stripped of our true nature because we are powerful beings. The only thing is that we don't know it. It's a system that we're living in that basically enslaves our spirit.
Exactly.
So we think we're free, to roam the earth and to have a little cash and to maybe, travel to a different place. And most of the time we are not free. We are working for somebody in a company for 8 hours in the day. By the time we wake up, we have to get to work. By the time we leave work, the sun is already setting. It's time to sleep, to go back to work again. And we have been robbed of our true creative expressions.
Exactly. And that's why people like you and I, we already have this innate knowledge and innate ability. And I know there are others out there who feel like we do. But the majority are going with the system because it's how they've been taught. But people like you and I have been placed here in order to bring awareness, because we have the vision and we have the innate knowledge. Somehow we just know. And we haven't been taught. It's not about what we've read. It's not about what we've been taught. It's about what we know. We have the innate ability and we know.